Hello. Gonna get into the news, but this week I really wanted to start off, it's the holiday season, it's the gift giving season. So, real quickly, I wanted to start off with just a list that our friend Spencer Crandall has put together. I think it's like nearly 90 Oregon makers who do gift boxes or e commerce kind of things for you. So, if you are still struggling to find a gift and you want to support amazing Oregon makers, then check out Spencer's list. I'll link it up so that it'll just ease your gift giving. Like you can give it to people who aren't in Oregon, you can give it to people who are in Oregon. I realize this is a stressful time for people. I'm feeling the stress, the gift giving stress. So this is just maybe something to help you make it through the holiday season with a little less stress and a little more happiness for the people that you're providing gifts and things for. And you're helping Oregon makers. So I'll link that up. You're good to go. You got all that thing. I want you to start the year off on the right foot. I want you to be connected with peers and people in the community who can be helpful to you. That's why kicking off the year with an event on January 14th to get the community together is hugely important to me, and I would love to see you there. So please RSVP, and we'll see you on January 14th. Let's get into the bigger news. The founder and former CEO of Vacasa has re-entered the vacation rental market with a new company called Fairly. He's brought together some Vacasa alums as part of the leadership team. He's got like 25 employees, so I'm sure there are other Vacasa people sprinkled throughout this company. Fairly that it's just right for puns, but I'm trying to avoid those. I did those in the headline. That's fine. Fairly is really kind of iterating on the Vacasa model. So if you're not familiar with Vacasa, one of the most successful startups in Portland for a long time that really tried to rethink kind of the vacation rental management industry, kind of iterating on what Airbnb had created and adding things like the services you need for the upkeep of those facilities, like housekeeping and those kind of things. So that was really Vacasa's added value. And now what they're doing with Fairly is taking that step further and saying what you really need is a caretaker of the facility to really just like be involved and invested in that living space, that vacation space, and really helping like maintain it over time. So not someone who just comes in, takes care of it, and is gone and doesn't have any connection to the space, but somebody who really is invested and is a caretaker of the space. And so that's their kind of new modification on the vacation rental management stuff. We'll see how it goes. Really exciting news to see a company kind of come out of stealth, out of nowhere, basically. I was like, what? Okay. And so eager to keep an eye on them and see what Fairly does, see what the team does, see how this model works, see how this funding model works. So stay tuned. I will be keeping an eye on Fairly going forward, and I'll keep you up to date on all the things going on with Fairly and their rethinking of the vacation home management model and that whole vertical. Here's one thing I want you to do for yourself. It's subscribe. Like, I'm going to keep doing this stuff every week. Just subscribe, and each week I will take care of all the news for you. You won't even have to pay attention to it. You just have to listen to me on 2X really quickly once a week, and you will be up to date on everything going on. Fairly isn't the only one talking about raising capital late in the year. Another Portland startup called Sightglass announced late last week, after I'd already recorded the episode, that they had raised $3 million. They've raised traditionally from institutional investors, but the model that Sightglass is using is they're kind of iterating more on the not necessarily the pitch book Crunchbase kind of model, but more on the keeping your LPs informed and about what's going on with their capital. So really for people who are managing funds, helping support the communications and metrics and due diligence and all those kind of things for the investment industry. So there have been companies like that that have kind of focused on the VC market, tried to provide them with telemetry, as the industry likes to call it, telemetry for their funding and their communications and those kind of things. But that's what Sightglass is focused on. And clearly they're on to something. They've been around for a couple of years. $3 million in investment to help move them to that next level. Again, not a ton of detail. There wasn't a lot of news about this. I just happened to pick up on it, caught a press release, wanted to make sure you knew about it. And I'm always happy to see local startups pursuing kind of different ideas or iterative ideas, and happy to see other people stepping up to support them with the financial backing that they need. So keep an eye on Sightglass, but $3 million in funding to pursue this analytics and telemetry for more traditional kind of institutional venture capital pursuits. You know, the funding is always big news around here. Like, people get really excited about the funding. They're like, "Oh, congratulations. You just raised a lot of money, which means that you're now committed to probably raising more money and making more money for other people." But like, you know, that's fine. Like, it is, venture capital is an instrument that can be used to help companies succeed. It's not a cure-all, but it can sometimes be an indicator that you're on the path to something interesting. But you know me, I've always been kind of focused on those companies that may even be pre-capital, pre-product, that are just getting off the ground. They're very early stage founders. You know, I love founders who they're so passionate and so driven about their product that they want to build, about the company they want to create. And so, like, I often gravitate more to those stories about people who are still very early, trying to get off the ground and tell the story about the company that they want to build. And that's why I was super excited to attend Demolicious Champion of Champions event this week. You know, I've been hyping it up for so long, and finally we got there. Honestly, the first Demolicious I've had the opportunity to attend this year. Not their fault, my fault, but I was really happy I got to go. It was at the McMenamins Mission Theater. It was crowded, lots of people, lots of excitement. Adam Duvander, the founder of Demolicious, took the stage and provided a little bit of the history of where it came from Portland Web Innovators. And like, it was a portion of Portland Web Innovators, and then it became an event in and of itself, and kind of went through, you know, they used to do some events at the Mission and OMSI and all these kind of things. Anyway, Adam was kind enough to take the stage and kind of take us through the history and give us the foundation stuff and all that kind of thing. And I think it was new for many people in the audience. I saw a lot of folks there who have been in the startup community for a while, but I also saw a whole bunch of new folks who probably didn't have that kind of historical context. So really happy that Josh gave Adam the opportunity to kind of share that history, and then we got right into the pitches. It was supposed to be 9 companies. It wound up being 8 companies because one company couldn't be there, but Josh was kind enough to still leave them on the voting kind of tabulation thing as people went through the pitching and voting. So 8 companies got up, did their pitch. You know, great job by everyone there. But when the dust settled and cleared and the crowd had voted, we took a look at what the tally said, and the Champion of Champions for Demolicious 2024 is Airbuild. The nice thing for AirBuild is not only do they get that recognition, they get to keep that kind of cool title belt. So they got the votes, got the accolades from the crowd, got to keep the belt. Everybody was really happy and excited, and then the event just kind of became a networking event for people to kind of hang out, meet one another, connect with other people who had shown up, talk to the founders who may not have won but had really interesting concepts. So all in all, great year, 12 months of Demolicious, of bringing startups to the stage to do a quick pitch about what they're trying to build or what the product is that they're passionate about. All told, I think the number is like 90 startups. So let's say roughly 100 startups throughout the year took advantage of the Demolicious platform. These 9 companies wound up in the running for Champion of Champions, and all being told AirBuild walked out with the win. And they had won multiple times before. So, like, they were a multi-time title defense winner who also wound up winning the Champion of Champions contest. So, congratulations to AirBuild, the 2024 Demolicious Champion of Champions. You know I talk a lot about UpStart Collective. UpStart Collective, Josh Carter, deeply involved in Demolicious. I mean, Josh has been running the whole thing. UpStart Collective has hosted all of the Demolicious pitch events up until this point. They're the primary sponsor, all that kind of thing. So it was really nice to see UpStart Collective also got the opportunity to share some upcoming news at Demolicious that is kind of like breaking news. Probably not breaking by the time you're watching this, but was breaking at Demolicious, which is, UpStart Collective. They started on the Central East Side in the Olympic Mills building. They partnered with Portland State to activate some of the Portland State Business Accelerator, and then Portland State was like, PSBA is moving to a new building, and UpStart Collective's like, that's cool. We'll move along with them. Oh, it's a bigger space. Well, we can activate even more space. So UpStart Collective had Portland East Side original, the OG UpStart Collective, as it were. And then they have the evolving West Side location of UpStart Collective with Portland State. But what they announced at Demolicious is 2 new locations. So 4 locations total, 2 new locations, one in Eugene, activating the space on Olive Street that has been an innovation center for quite a long time. I think Rain is in there currently. There was an accelerator in there for a long time, but the Olive Street Innovation Lab will now be also activated by UpStart Collective in Eugene. So tying Portland to Eugene in a really meaningful way, besides, just Ducks fandom, but there is in an innovative way with like the startup activity there. And then the other announcement is there's a facility in the OSU Cascades campus, which is in Bend, Oregon, called CoLab, that is an innovation facility that had kind of been on pause as they tried to figure out next steps. And apparently UpStart Collective's also going to step in there to help activate that space. So that was the reveal at Demolicious, that UpStart Collective will now be Portland East Side, Portland West Side at the PSBA, in Eugene on Olive Street to do the Innovation Lab, and then also in Bend at the OSU Cascades campus, activating the CoLab space. So it's really interesting to see UpStart Collective move from just a pure Portland presence to a more state-wide presence, and that may potentially continue, especially if they align with kind of what the state is doing with this kind of innovation hub activity, which happens to be centered at Portland State, which they're already partnered with for Portland. And then the Bend Central Oregon Innovation Hub is largely tied to the OSU Cascades campus. So there's Eugene activity too. I can't forget there's Eugene and Innovation hub activities. So UpStart Collective is doing a really nice job of starting to align with the state-funded innovation hub pursuits, and there's still a few more throughout the state, so who knows? I don't know anything. I'm just saying UpStart Collective may have some really nice alignment with the Innovation Hub. But I will stay tuned. I will keep you posted on what's going on there and look forward to a bigger, brighter 2025 for not only UpStart Collective, but also Demolicious. Bad segue time. Speaking of PSU. So, PSU, so many interesting things happen there that just don't really get the attention they deserve. And I can remember years and years ago, in the before times, pre-pandemic, getting the opportunity to go into the basement of the engineering school and learning more about a cube satellite program that Portland State was facilitating. It's an open source rocketry propulsion laboratory cube satellite-y kind of thing. And if you don't know what a cube satellite is, it's like a Nintendo GameCube that they shoot into space. And it can be a satellite. It doesn't need to be, satellites don't need to be huge. They just need to be able to survive in orbit. And so this, Nintendo GameCube-esque sized satellite that they've been working on is an open source project. I've long been a fan of the CubeSat pursuit at Portland State. So I glommed onto this story this week. It might have come out a few weeks ago, but I finally picked up on it. And it's interesting in that unintentionally, the CubeSat crew at Portland State working on this open source project came up and modeled the product they had created, the cube satellite they created, was really ridiculously resilient. So with a few modifications, very, very minor modifications, not a huge deal, they wound up getting in a situation where they were able to test that cube satellite, and it was able to withstand 10,000 Gs and still be functional and in one piece. That's 10,000 gravitational pressure things from all around that the CubeSat was yeah, it's not that big a deal. I can deal with it. I'm a CubeSat. I'll be fine. Put all the G's on me you want. And the testing facility was a spinner. They put it in this spinny thing, like a centrifuge, but that you could fit a CubeSat in and spin it around. For those of you who are as old as me, and I'm sorry I'm dating myself here, but it felt like that Moonraker thing, James Bond Moonraker, where he's in the centrifuge thing to pump up the G's for the astronauts. Anyway, so the CubeSat took 10,000 Gs, and with minor modifications. So all by way of being said, just super impressive how an open source project like this, trying to build the best product possible, the most affordable product possible, building it in the open and sharing everything that they're doing, they accidentally built something that was incredibly and ridiculously resilient that even without modifications could have survived incredible pressure and space travel. So congratulations to the Portland State CubeSat folks. It's really nice to see them getting this recognition and adoration from the work that they've been doing for so many years. And if you haven't taken a chance to explore it, I'll link up some stuff, but they just an amazing project and another one of those amazing, incredible Portland things that not many people know about. And the people who are involved in the project, yeah, we do open source, satellite stuff and rocketry stuff. It's not that big a deal. We just do our thing. We're just aggressively humble about the fact that we're furthering space exploration and space stuff along the lines of, the SpaceX's and NASA's of the world. But we're just doing a little thing here in the basement of the engineering department of Portland State. No big deal. That's Portland. That's what's so amazing. I encourage you to go down the rabbit hole of the PSU CubeSat project. I have been enamored of it for years and years, and I think you would find it highly entertaining. So I will continue to keep an eye on any Portland State CubeSat news and make sure you're up to date. But if this is intriguing to you, I highly encourage you not only to read about it, maybe potentially get engaged with some of the projects that they have and the open source activity around that project. Okay, so it's the end of the year. We're drawing to the end of the year, drawing to the end of this episode. But I think it's a lot, founders get kind of reflective, looking back at what they've done or what they've accomplished, but they're also trying to look forward, continue to move their business forward, continue to be innovative and iterative in what they're building. And so I was really happy to see First Round Capital, early stage VC firm that they'd had some local Portland investments. Simple was one of their early investments, and apparently my voice is going to crack. I'm so excited about that. But they invested in Simple back in the day. But First Round does a fantastic job of creating content for founders. It's called the First Round Review. I read it whenever they publish something new. And it was just a really timely piece that they published this week, which is really 25 hard questions founders should be asking themselves. And it seemed like a really good year-end piece, like planning for the next year. So I'll link it up. I encourage you to read it, consider some of the questions. I'll give you some examples of the types of questions that they shared. They source them from founders that they work with. And so some very insightful and and perhaps difficult questions for founders to answer, but there are 25 of them, but they're all along these sort of lines. So let me give you some examples. Are we winning because we're making good calls, or are we doing well in spite of ourselves? That one really resonated with me from a Pi perspective. I've talked about this a lot with Pi. Is did Pi actually work, or did it just appear to work because of all the other things that were going on in the community at that time? So great question. I love that one. Why won't this work out is another one. So many times this is why this product's going to work. This is why we're going to succeed. But why won't this succeed? Turn it around. What are the ways that could potentially fail? Where is this bad? Where are we heading toward pending doom? Or even impending doom? Where does that happen? What's one thing I, as a founder, am afraid to ask my team, but I probably should? I don't even want to go there. That one gets real uncomfortable, but it's a really great question. It just makes me introspective. I don't really even have a team, and that question intimidates me. So if you as a founder are able to ask yourself that question, good on you. I encourage you to do that. And then one other that I really appreciated was, where are we on the continuum of chaos and control? So it's all a spectrum. Everything is a spectrum. Where are you? Are you totally out of control? Are you totally in control? What's going on with your company? And maybe plot that. Maybe plot that over time on a more consistent basis. Anyway, that's a very short sampling of the questions they shared. There are 25 of those. If you're a founder, if you're part of a startup, I highly encourage you to review all those questions, maybe interrogate yourself and your company about those kind of things, and hopefully that helps you propel not only your company forward, but kind of inspires you in your vision for what you want to accomplish in 2025. Okay, that's it. Holidays drawing nearer, end of the year drawing nearer. I hope you're holding up. I hope everything's going okay. You're going to get some downtime because everything quiets down here soon. So please hang in there. Please do the best you can to take care of yourself. I want you to take care of yourself. And until we get the chance to chat again, please keep up the good work.